Hi guys, so in this video, I've skimmed through all of the June 2022 paper threes for foundation and higher, and I picked up those questions which seem like more confusing to understand. It might be different for some people, it might be the same for others. So this is just like my compilation for the hardest questions that I came across in higher and foundation paper three, June 2022. If you found some other questions difficult, do share them in the comments below and I'll try to help you out and solve those. Then this question says that the diagram PQR is an isosceles triangle with PQ equals to PR. APR and CQD are parallel lines. BPQ is a straight line. APB is 56. Work out the sides of the angle CQR. This is the angle that we have to find. So, if this is 56, this will also be 56. Why? Because vertically opposite angles are equal. So angle QPR equals to 56 because vertically opposite angles are equal. Now, since PQR is an isosceles triangle because we have two equal lengths, that means these two angles are also going to be equal. So we're going to do for angle PQR, that's going to be 180 minus 56 divided by 2. And that's going to give us 62 degrees. And the reason for that is that it's an isosceles triangle. Now, we have this angle, this is 62, and this is 62. So we can find this remaining angle. So for this remaining angle, firstly, BPQ is a straight line. So angle APQ is going to be 180 minus 56, which is going to be 124. If this is 124, we can find this angle. Angle CQP is going to be 180 minus 124, which is again 56 because co-interior angles add up to 180 in parallel lines. And for this, the reason was supplementary angles. So now for the last part, we're trying to find the angle CQR. That's going to be 56 plus 62, and that's going to give us 118 degrees. That is your answer. This question says that the diagram shows rectangle STUV, TQU, and SRV are straight lines. All measurements are in centimeters. The area of trapezium QUVR is a centimeter square. So that A equals to 2x squared plus 20x. So for this question, what we're going to do is we're going to begin with finding the area of the rectangle TUVS. That's going to be 4x times 5 plus 3x. So that's going to be 20x plus 12x squared. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the area of this trapezium. Area of trapezium TUSR. That's going to be 1 over 2 times the height, which is 4x, times the sum of parallel sides, which is 2x plus 3x. So that's going to be 2x times 5x, which is 10x squared. So now to find the area of QUVR, which is A, That's going to be the difference of the area of the rectangle and the trapezium. So 20x plus 12x squared minus 10x squared, and that's going to be 2x squared plus 20x. And that is your answer. This question says that Rick, Selma, and Tony are playing a game with counters. Rick has some counters. Selma has twice as many counters as Rick, and Tony has 6 counters less than Selma. In total, they have 54 counters. The number of counters Rick has to the number of counters Tony has is 1 is to P. Work out the value of P. So if we assume that Rick has X counters, Selma will have 2X counters, and Tony will have 2X minus 6 counters. So altogether, there are 54 counters. So X plus 2X plus 2X minus 6 equals to 54. That's going to be 5X minus 6 equals to 54. 5X equals to 54 plus 6. And that's going to be 60. So X is 60 divided by 5, which is 12. Now we have to find the ratio of number of counters Rick has to Tony. So Rick has 12 and Tony has 2 times 12 minus 6, which is 24 minus 6, and that's 18. So the ratio is given as 1 is to P. So if we divide both sides by 12, that's going to be 1 is to P by 2, or 1 is to 1.5. So your P is 1.5. That is your answer. This question says that Jane bought a new car 3 years ago. At the end of the first year, the value of the car had decreased by 12.5%. The value of the car then decreased by 10% each year for the next 2 years. At the end of 3 years, the value of the car was £17,010. Work out the value of the car when Jane bought it 3 years ago. So after the first year, the car decreased by 12.5%. So if we do 100 minus 12.5, the car's value was at 87.5% after the first year. Now, then it says the value of the car then decreased by 10% each year for the next 2 years. So we know that at the end of the 3 years, the value of the car is £17,010. We have to find the initial value of the car. So 17,010 equals to 87.5% of X, X being initial value of the car times 1 minus 10 over 100 whole power 2. The reason why it's 1 minus 10 over 100 because 87.5% of the value that's at the end of the first year. And that value is being further decreased by 10% for the next 2 years. So that's why subtract 10% from 1. So now what we have is 0.70875 times X. When you subtract 1, when you subtract 0.01 from 1 and square it, and then multiply it by 87.5 over 100, that gives us 0.70875. And then when we divide the two, that's going to give us the initial value of the car, which is going to be 24,000 pounds. So once again, first we decrease the initial value of the car by 12.5% after the first year. Then that value is decreased by 10% for the next 2 years. So that's why it's 87.5 over 100 times X, X being the initial value of the car, times 1 minus 10 over 100 to the power of 2, because we're talking about 2 years. And this entire thing equals to the current value of the car, which is 17,010 pounds. Look at the next question. Says that the table gives information about the distances in miles that some year 10 students live from school. So we have the distance in miles and the corresponding frequency. On the grid, draw a histogram for this information. So first, write down the density for each class width. So for the first one, firstly, frequency density is going to be frequency over class width. So first, it's going to be 90 over 10, which is 9. Then it's going to be 48 over 0.5, which is going to be 96. Then 22 over 0.5, that's 44. Then 8 over 1, which is 8. And lastly, 12 over 2, which is 6. So these are the frequency densities: 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. So 9 is going to come somewhere over here. So from 0 to 1, it's going to be approximately this. 96 is going to come then 44 will be over here. 8 is going to be over here, and 6 will be around this. So this is your histogram. Then it says the histogram below shows information about the distances in miles for the sum in miles that some year 11 students live from school. So in part B, it says the number of year 11 students who live between 1 and 2 miles from school is n. Find this question in terms of n for the number of year 11 students who live between 3 and 5 miles from school. So this is the number of students who live between 1 and 2 miles from school, and there are n. So the frequency is n for this. Try to find the frequency density for this part. That's going to be n over 1, because the class width is 1. And the frequency density is going to be n, which means this point is n. Now, as you can see, from 0 to n, there are 3 blocks. So which means 1, 2, 3, this is going to be 2n, and another 3, that will be 3n, and so on. So we need to find the frequency density for 3 to 5 in order to figure out the number of people that live between this distance. So if this is n, that means this will be n over 3, and this will be 2n over 3. Now for the 3 to 5 distance, need to find this value over here. Need to find this value. So as you can see, that's 1, 2, 3 boxes. So to find the height of these 3 boxes, we need to figure out what each small box is. So if this one big box is n over 3 and there are 5 divisions over there, so n over 3 divided by 5 is going to be n over 15. So each small box has the height of n over 15. So for 3 boxes, 3 times n over 15, which is going to be n over 5. That is the frequency density for the values between 3 to 5. Now to find the frequency for this, frequency would be frequency density times the class width. Frequency density is n over 5 and class width is 2. So that's 2n over 5, which can also be rewritten as 0.4n. So that is your expression for the number of year 11 students who live between 3 and 5 miles from school. So in this question, it says that here is a prism ABCD SPQR. The base ABCD of the prism is a square of side 14 centimeter. T is the point on BC such that BT is to TC is 4:3. The cross section of the prism is in the shape of a trapezium of area 147 centimeters square. CR is 12 centimeters. Find the size of the angle between the line ST and the base ABCD, giving your answer correct to 1 decimal place. So what we will do is, we know that the cross section area is a trapezium, and that's 147. This is 14, this is 14, this is 14, and this is 14 because it's a square base. If BC is 12, QB is also 12. So what we can do is, using the area of the prism, we can find PA. So 147 equals to 1 over 2 times the height, which is 14, times the sum of parallel sides, which is going to be 12 plus x. So that is going to be 147 equals to 7 times 12 plus x. 147 over 7 equals to 12 plus x, which is 21. And if we do 21 minus 12, that's going to give us 9 centimeters. So that's the value of x. So now that we have the value of x, which is 9 centimeters, next what we need to do is we need to find the value of dt. Why dt? Because we're trying to find the angle between the line ST and the base ABCD. And since PA is the same as SD, that means ST is also going to be 9 centimeters. So if we label this as 9, to find dt, we know that the length BTC is in the ratio BT is to TC is 4:3. So that means BT is going to be 4 over 7 times 14, which is going to be 8 centimeters. And TC is going to be 3 over 7 times 14, which is 6 centimeters. So this is 8 and this is 6. So we can easily find dt using Pythagoras because it's a square base, so the angle is going to be 90 over here. dt squared equals to dc square plus ct square. So dt would be square root of dc square is 14 square and ct square is 6 square. Hence dt will equal to 15.23 centimeters. So now that we have dt and we have st, we can find the angle using tangent because this is the angle that we're trying to find. So tan of theta equals to 9 over 15.23, and theta would be tan inverse of 9 over 15.23, and that's going to give us 30.6 degrees. This is your angle correct to 1 decimal place. Next question says the profits made by a shop increases each year. The profit made by the shop in year N is Pn pounds. Given that the profit made by the shop in the next year is Pn plus 1 pounds, then Pn plus 1 equals to A times Pn plus 800, where A is a constant. The table shows the profits made by the shop in 2018 and 2019. Work out the profit predicted to be made by the shop in 2021. So first we need to find the value of A. So for that, we're going to use the profits from 2019 and 2018. So what we'll do is we'll write 29,600 equals to A times 24,000. So we divide 29,600 by 24,000, and that's going to give us 1.2 as the value of A. So now the equation is Pn plus 1 equals to 1.2 times Pn. Now we're going to use this to find the profit in 2021. So first, let's find the profit in 2020. So profit of 2020 is going to be 1.2 times the profit in 2019. And that's going to be 36,320 pounds. Now the profit in 2021 is going to be 1.2 times the profit in 2020. And that will be 44,384 pounds. So that is your answer. Question 22 says L is the straight line with the equation y equals to 2x minus 5. C is a graph with the equation y square equals to 6x square minus 25x minus 8. Using algebra, find the coordinates points of intersection of L and C. You must show all your working. So to show the points of intersection, that means they have a common point. So for that, we can substitute y with 2x minus 5, because once again, they share one common value of x and y. So that's going to be 2x minus 5 whole squared equals to 6x squared minus 25x minus 8. So now we expand the bracket. That's going to be 4x squared minus 20x plus 25 equal to 6x squared minus 25x minus 8. Bring everything on the right-hand side. So 6x squared minus 4x squared minus 25x plus 20x minus 8 minus 25. That will be 2x squared minus 5x minus 33. As you can see, we have a quadratic equation. So we will factorize this quadratic equation. And that will be 2x squared minus 11x plus 6x minus 33. We do factor by grouping. So in the first two terms, we have x common. So 2x minus 11 comes in the bracket. And the second two terms, and the last two terms, we have 3 common. So we'll have 2x minus 11 inside the bracket again. So we take 2x minus 11 common. Inside the bracket, we'll have x plus 3. So one value of x is 11 over 2, and the other is negative 3. Now you will substitute these two values back in the equation of the line to get the value of x. You can also substitute them in the equation of the curve, but it's easier to go for the linear equation because the calculation will be less time consuming. So y equals to 2 times 11 over 2 minus 5 is going to be 6. And y equals to 2 times negative 3 minus 5 is going to be negative 11. So one coordinate is 11 over 2 and 6. And the other is negative 3 and negative 11. That is your final answer. And this question says that Ray has 9 cards numbered 1 to 9. Ray takes at random 3 of these cards. He works out the sum of the numbers on the 3 cards and records the result. Work out the probability that the result is an even number. So first we need to understand how can we get an even number. We can get an even number if we add 3 even numbers. We can get an even number if we add 1 even and 2 odd. Once again, first can be odd, second can be even, and the third can be odd. And first can be odd, second can be odd, and third can be even. These are the only ways we can get even numbers each time we add the three numbers. If you were adding two even numbers and an odd number, that would not equal to an even number. For example, if we add 4 plus 2 plus 3, 4 plus 2 is 6, 6 plus 3 is 9. That's an odd number, which means these are the only combinations that give us an even number every single time we add these. So the probability of getting an even number is what? Let's count the even numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 even numbers. And for odd, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So since the numbers are not being, replaced in the same scenario, so the probability of getting an even number is going to be 4 over 9. Then the probability of getting the next even number would be 3 over 8. Because it says that we're not reusing the same number. It's going to be a different number every single time. So next even number is going to be something else. So the number that we've already used, that's not being repeated. And the third would be 2 over 7. Now, for the next combination, even, odd, and odd, so the probability of getting even number would be 4 over 9 times. The probability of getting an odd number would be 5 over 8, because there's one less card now. We've already selected an even number. So 9 cards are reduced to 8 cards. And then probability of getting an odd number again would be 4 over 7. And for the next combination, probability of getting an odd number is 5 over 9. Then an even number would be 4 over 8. And then again, an odd number would be 4 over 7. Once again, for odd number, it's going to be 5 over 9, then times 4 over 8, and then times 4 over 7. So first, we're going to find the product of these, and then we're going to add the result. For the first one, it's going to be 1 over 21, going to be 10 over 63, and it's going to be the same for all these three because we're multiplying the same fractions. So we're going to add these up to find the probability of us getting an even number. So 1 over 21 plus 10 over 63 plus 10 over 63 and plus 10 over 63. So that's going to be 11 over 21. That is the probability of you getting an even number every time you pick up the cards and add this up.